All right, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Let me share this out now. I'm live. It's been a little minute since I've been on YouTube doing any videos. Let's see, let me share this out that I'm live. Share this out that we live. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the All Things Life and Sports podcast show. I'm gonna start calling my thing show. This is a show. This ain't just no podcast. I got this thing going. I know it's been a minute since I've been on YouTube. I'll post my little shorts, but I kind of just been doing my little short reels, getting my stuff together. Um, Kind of doing that. I kind of wanted to focus on that for a little bit, build my following before I started back doing like the long videos, the podcast. So I'm changing the name to All Things Life and Sports with Colin Summers. This is the show. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no pod, this is a show. Which is why I wanted to come do the YouTube live, because YouTube allow you to share your screen and kind of do things that way. And I'd rather do it this way than honestly all the editing of having to go back in, edit. When you do a podcast, you got to go back in and add in clips, and we can just go live and I just share the screen while y'all on here. But let's get into it. Obviously, you see what I got on here, the Jaguar hoodie. Um, a lot has transpired in the Jacksonville Jaguar world, Jacksonville Jaguar fandom, especially on today. Now let me take y'all from the start. And I'm gonna preface this by saying, obviously the Jaguars, we fired Doug Peterson, so we've been in search of a new head coach. Okay, obviously. I'm gonna preface this by saying, I've always wanted a defensive minded head coach. Okay, I've always wanted the Belichick. I've always wanted the Vrabel. I've always wanted the Glenn, the Flores, the Sala, the that's who I wanted. But that's the type of coach that I feel, me personally, as fans, we all have our opinion. That's the kind of coach I feel that we need, that this team needs. When I got players at the end of the season saying, and I should have went and got the clip, but that's the beautiful thing about YouTube Live. I can go get it and we can put it on here. When I have players at the end of the season interviews saying, guys got to be willing to make sacrifices, got to be willing to do things they're, maybe not comfortable with or not used to doing, or which is kind of what we felt throughout the season anyway. It points to the culture of the team. And when we say, we got good culture because we have good guys, we thought they hung out with each other. We thought, when I got Fred Taylor on Monday Morning Running Back with Jeff Hick and them on the drill in the morning, 10 XL in the mornings, I think from 6 to 10. When I got him on that with them on what he do weekly, saying he's taught the players in that locker room, guys don't hang out with each other. They're not a team. There's no cohesiveness. They're not a unit. They're not fighting for each other. We ain't brothers. We ain't. And he mentioned, when we was on away games, we was with each other. We went out to eat with each other. We hung with each other. And I get it. A lot of these guys think they got fiancés. Trevor wife is pregnant, just had a baby. So each guy had their own thing going on. I get that. But couple that with the interview a former player did during the season, then at the end of the season, I got like two players in Trayvon Walker and Tank Bigsby saying guys got to be willing to make sacrifices. And they kind of just leave it at that. When I got in the middle of a season, a defensive player and Andre Cisco, who might not even be here, saying he saw some quit. That's a culture thing. We do not have a good culture. Y'all think we got a good culture because guys hang out with each other, or not hang out. Guys are nice. These are good guys. That's what make y'all think we got good culture. We don't have a good winning culture to consistently win on a consistent basis, year after year after year after year. So when I see that, I feel that that is what this team needs. Bring me in a hard-nosed guy who ain't gonna take no bullshit. That's why I wanted a Belichick. Now I get the whole offensive-minded guy. Obviously, you got Trevor Lawrence. You just signed into a contract. Now he seemed to be getting hurt a lot more. Now he seemed to be getting hurt more. But I digress. So let's start from the beginning. So you fire your head coach and Doug Peterson, but you retain your general manager in Trent Baalke. Now this is where we get into the meat. This is where we get into the nitty gritty. This is where it starts to get good. You fire Doug, but keep Baalke. We've said all season. Well, when it got to that point, we've said you have to fire Doug and you have to fire Baalke. You have to completely clean house. Otherwise, the thought here in Jacksonville amongst media, people around the league who also cover the team, other NFL teams, fans, the thought was you have to clean sweep in order for a coach to want to come here. Trent Baalke has a negative reputation around the NFL. No top head coaching candidate is going to want to come to Jacksonville if Trent Baalke is still the general manager. Now, again, I prefaced it in the beginning. I gave y'all the candidates that I liked, that I wanted personally. And a part of that is because I knew Jacksonville Jaguars were not getting a Ben Johnson. Hell, I felt we could get an Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn didn't even want to give us no second interview. But we're not getting the Ben Johnson. We're not getting the Aaron Glenn. We're not getting the Liam Cohen now. I said, y'all, this is the Jaguars. Have y'all not figured that shit out by now? Like, we're not getting no Ben Johnson. I told y'all from the jump, Ben was always going to choose the Bears. Caleb Williams was always a bigger draw than Trevor Lawrence. It's like I said it in my preseason video I did. I said it when I went on someone else's podcast and talked about it. It's like us here in Jacksonville. We get a small glimpse of players, and they do a little good here, or they're better than what we're used to, i.e. Trevor Lawrence. He's better than what we've had in a while. So anything he does, the little he's done is good enough, and that's going to be shown to everyone else around the league. No, y'all, majority of the season, y'all said the defense was shit. Now I didn't agree with the constant rotating, but our defense had us in games, y'all. Like I didn't get the whole Nielsen is just ass. Like I did not get that. Mind you, I agree with the rotate. You cannot rotate your best pass rushers off the field on third down. I don't get that. But our defense kept us in games. Trevor Lawrence missed guys wide open. There's plenty of screenshots that even y'all as fans came to realize y'all screenshot and then you'll say, that guy was wide open. He don't read the field. He don't see the field. It's not Doug Peterson's fault that Travis Etienne fumbled. It's not Doug Peterson's fault in the Buffalo game. Trevor overshot the guy and it was an interception. It's not Doug Peterson's fault. Trevor Lawrence missing people wide open. It's not Ryan Nielsen's fault. They can't catch an interception. They can't hold on to the ball. But y'all said, okay, you wanted Ben Johnson. Okay, when it seemed like we weren't going to be able to get Ben Johnson after retaining Baalke, y'all pivoted to Liam Cohen. I don't know where this whole Liam Cohen thing came from anyway. Where the whole talk, the whole shebang with Liam Cohen, I don't even know where that came from. Okay, but thought around the league, nobody wants to work with Baalke. Okay. There even was the reports and talks, and a lot of fans felt we wouldn't even be able to get to interview a Ben Johnson. You won't even be able to get to interview Liam Cohen, Aaron Glenn. Well, let me put up here and show y'all our the Jaguars. They ended up dropping, which I felt like they did this because they knew the talk. Baalke knew the talk. He knew the talk of people felt like we weren't even gonna get to interview these guys had he stayed. Let's say, you know what, let's be transparent. Let's put out our interview list. Let's keep the fans updated on who we bring in, when we interview them, when we've completed the interview. I feel like that was balking them from jump. He wanted to be transparent, like, oh, y'all said I wouldn't even be able to interview these dudes. Okay, let me put up the Jaguars interview list. I'm gonna put up the Jaguars interview list. Let me bring it up. My first time doing it right here. Let me bring it up. Technical difficulties. Nah, just kidding. All right. Hold on. Let me pull up. How I pull up? Let me pull up this. It ain't even pulling up no. I ain't know what y'all see. Let me see. Trying to share this because I gotta. We gonna figure it out, y'all. We gonna figure it out because trying to put. Look, we put. Bear with me. We putting it lit because once I get this figured out, then I'll know how to share. I'll know how to share everything on here. They just share the entire screen. Entire screen share. You know, how do I, then it say share Chrome tab. I don't even know if y'all can see that, man. Don't worry about it. I'll get it figured out. Do a little try one. I'll get it figured out. But the list, the Jaguars list. Okay. Yeah, I got to get this figured out because I. Let me see. Because I wanted to be able to show like my clips, show all that. Like, if you're in the chat, tell me how to share clips, like how to put up stuff like that on your screen from your computer. because I had all this clipped out. Like I had all this I wanted to share. I had all this. But we ain't gonna worry about it. I can read. I can read off the. I can read off the list to y'all till I get the share figured out. I'll read out the list. They said we wouldn't be able to interview these people and retaining Baalke. We wouldn't even get an interview. This was the Jaguars. I could put it to y'all like this. This was the Jaguars interview request list. Kellen Moore, Todd Monken, Joe Brady, Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Patrick Graham, Robert Saleh. Let me give you that list again. If you can't see it, because I ain't figured out how to share it on here. So that mug clear. Joe Brady is on that list. Liam Cohen is on that list. Ben Johnson is on that list. Aaron Glenn is on that list. So the whole, well, them guys ain't even gonna want to come talk to us with Baalke here. That's debunked. They've released that. They've released when we started the interview. They've released when we finished the interview. So that's debunked. Okay. Now, then that leads us to, and see, and this is what I've learned. I keep saying, I'm gonna keep saying. Jaguars Twitter. Jaguars Twitter, I've learned, is not a representation of the majority thought or majority of the thoughts of the Jacksonville Jaguar fan base. Okay. Jaguars Twitter is not the end all be all of the Jaguars fandom. Okay. But one of our most respected former players just got into the Hall of Fame, the first ever draft pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tony Baalke. The way Jaguar Twitter has turned on him because of this whole process. Because he came out and said a GM is not stopping head coach candidates from wanting to come coach the team. And that's kind of what I said, but that's why I prefaced this live. I prefaced this show by saying I didn't think we were going to get Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen. I didn't think we were going to get any of them anyway. So whether it be Baalke, had he left, had he stayed, I didn't think we was going to get any of them anyway. But Baalke came out and said, us keeping Baalke. He first said when the news first broke, he first interviewed on the Jeff and Dan. He said keeping a GM is not going to stop a head coach candidate, a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's not going to. He's not going to. No one is not going to want to come interview here. No one is not want to go. He's not blocking anybody. That's basically what he said the first time he interviewed on there. He pretty much said this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. This is a once in a lifetime interview. And I think this was around the time where people were thinking we wouldn't even get interviews with these guys. And he said no one is not going to interview here simply because Baalke is still there. That's not the case. And he turned out to be right about that because they dropped the list that I just gave y'all. And those guys did still up interviewing here when a lot of the thought was they wouldn't even interview. Okay, so now fast to Monday because he do his interview on Mondays as well. This past Monday, because the news broke that Ben Johnson took the Bears head coaching job. Okay, Ben Johnson. Now, before prefacing that, Ben Johnson ended up taking the Bears head coaching job. And Tony pretty much said in his interview on Monday, you cannot go off of just what the media say, what these people saying in these tweets. I don't do that no way. I've been learned about media. Everybody said something different. You had people saying he was going to be with the Raiders. You had people saying the Jags. You had people saying the Bears. So you can't go off of what a reporter is saying, because they all saying different things. They all got, oh, there's my source is right. But the report in the beginning, the report was, oh, Ben, he's either going to want to go somewhere with a good setup and he can bring his own GM, or he's just going to stay in Detroit. And when the news came out about Liam Cohen, there's a lot of thought of the man would rather go back and be an OC rather than coming back and being a head coach with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Y'all held y'all sword on the man who we was the only team to interview him. And I ain't saying no wrong, because I think they said Kevin O'Connell, there was only like 2 teams that interviewed him. But y'all doing all this over, we the only team that interviewed him. It's just like Ben Johnson last season. Maybe he wanted to wait till his right opportunity. But see, this is what I'm telling y'all as Jags fans. Y'all think because we got Trevor that people are just going to run at this opportunity. The Jaguars are the best job. You got Trevor. You got cap space. You're in the AFC South. The NFC North is not going to be all that next year. I'm telling y'all. Ben Johnson felt like, I made Detroit and that offense what they were. So with me gone and going to the Bears, they're missing that. AG is gone. They're missing that. Who gonna be the Vikings head coach? I mean, who gonna be the Vikings quarterback? Love and the Packers ain't showing nothing. I'm telling y'all that NFC North is not going to be what y'all think it is. It's probably gonna be about the same as the AFC South. Some people, you might think Anthony Richardson might finally make a jump. You got to deal with a mobile QB and Anthony Richardson. You got to deal with CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans. Won the AFC South back-to-back, 2 straight years. After a down year, they still won the AFC South. And you got the Titans, who if they just get a quarterback, I think they will be up there with the Texans. I said that before the season. Their defense was going to be good, and they were. You just had Will Levis making boneheaded play. Literally, I could go out there and make a better play than what he was doing. So you could say the NFC North and the AFC South are going to be about the same. But the reports were that Ben Johnson was going to take the Raiders' job because they fired their GM so that Ben could bring in his own guy. The reports were that they fired their GM so Ben could bring, I think his name was Lance Newark, the guy who Ben wants to bring in. They fired their GM so Ben could come and bring in Lance Newark, get to work with Tom Brady. That's clear. That's clearly been out the window. Then you got guys who a lot of Jazz fans sharing and falling on the sword over what Chad Forbes tweeted. Okay, I'm gonna put that up till I get this thing figured out about how to share my little photos and stuff on the screen. You see. Till I get that figured out, I'm gonna show it to y'all like this. And y'all falling on the sword over guys like Chad Forbes saying in 4 months, Bears are gonna hire Cliff Kingsbury, Cowboys are gonna get Bill Belichick, Jaguars are gonna get Ben Johnson, GM Mike Dissner, Jets Mike Vrabel, GM Catherine Hickman, Raiders Drew Petzing, Saints Aaron Glenn. Let him be all the way wrong. But y'all going off these reports that you're getting from people. You're going off reports from Diana Rossini because she tweeted that Ben Johnson didn't like the setup here in Jacksonville, so he chose but then today she says, oh, Ben Johnson chose the Bears because of Caleb Williams. It's simple as that. You see how, that's what I said, Jaguars fans, y'all are saying the reason is Baalke to cope, and I get it. But it's more to that. Just like Tommy Max is more to, I'm not saying he's not a part of it, but if Ben Johnson, the reason was because he wanted his own GM, but he goes to a team in the Bears where he has to work with Ryan Poles, who they fans don't like him either. Was it really just about him wanting his own GM, or did he just feel like Caleb Williams is better than Trevor Lawrence? Does Liam Cohen just feel like it's better for me to just stay here in Tampa Bay and work with Baker Mayfield? We done been to the playoffs. Let me pull up the tweet until I can figure out how to share my screen on here. I got to show it to y'all like this. But when I have Diana Rossini, the Jacksonville Jaguars were also interested in Ben Johnson, but I'm told the setup wasn't in line with what he was looking for in his first head coaching job. So when Diana Rossini tweets that, here go Jasmine. Oh, Shad Khan, I told him. Which I think Shad Khan is no better. I think he just has no idea about football. Which is why you felt like you lost out on candidates because of Baalke. Then you fire him today. You fired him a couple hours ago. Somebody said, I think Saleh going to get hired. Why fire Baalke so late? Like, that just go to show we are an unserious, dysfunctional organization. Because if Shad Khan truly felt that or was hearing that around the league, which he said in his presser, that, if there was a candidate that came around and I felt like he could provide something or a new change or something, I'll consider it. Well, then what did they not let you know that in the interviews? Why fire Baalke now? This is why I say the Jaguars are unserious. Y'all keep giving me what Shad Khan. Yeah, my dad in the chat. Y'all keep giving me Shad Khan. He did this for the city. You got the 4 seasons. You got the pools, the practice facility. We get a new stadium. But what is he doing on the field for the football team when it comes to W's and L's? What is he doing? But you got Diana Rossini saying the setup is the reason why these guys didn't come. The Ben Johnson didn't come, or the Liam Cohen didn't come. But then she tweets this. Ben Johnson picked the Bears because of the quarterback. It's that simple. He said nothing won't get my money next year. Exactly. So in one tweet, she says it's the setup, hinting at the GM. Then after that, you say, it's the quarterback. He just feels like Caleb Williams is better than Trevor Lawrence. Simple. You see why you can't go off of what these reporters are saying? Y'all got to learn that they see the pulse of the fan base on social media, on Twitter, so they feed into that. They feed into, we feel like Baalke is the reason. So a lot of them are going to report and say certain things like, I'm hearing around the league that Baalke's reputation, or I'm hearing around the league, no coach, Ben Johnson wanted the Jaguars with Baalke, da-da-da-da-da-da. They're going to say that. They're going to say that from in one breath, but then and she's going to give you the honest truth in the next breath, which is what Boselli was saying. From what he was hearing, is not just Trent Baalke. I don't think it's just Trent. I truly believe Ben Johnson felt like Caleb Williams was the better option. He said so himself, and when he got to the man got hired literally like a day after the Lions got eliminated. They didn't even bring him in for an in-person interview. This was set up from the jump. I told y'all from the jump he was going to choose the Bears. The man said it. This is where me and my family wanted to be. Look, and it's kind of my message. This whole live is my message to Jaguars fans. Stop depending on the media when it comes to these type of things. There's no way you tell me that man didn't know or feel or like there was talk tampering this whole time that he was going to the Bears. You just got eliminated. Now you already in Chicago. Let me see if I can get this video to play because I I really want y'all to see it. Okay, I think I got it. But I think I got it figured out, y'all. I think I got it figured out. No, it's on the tab. Okay, so I got to figure out how to share on the tab. Got to figure out how to share on the tab. Got to figure out how to share on the tab. But now I just mean I got to take my stuff to a tab. You know what? We'll do it like this. We'll do it like this. All right. I can't play it from here. But I done figured out how to do it now. I done figured out how to do it now. I done figured out how to do it now. Listen at this clip. It's like a minute and 10 seconds. Listen at this and tell me if this is somebody that was truly giving interviews, like truly taking his time interview, truly taking his time considering the head coaching position. Listen to this interview and y'all tell me if he ain't know this whole time that he was going to the Chicago Bears.
Everyone get back to work. Listen, thank you so much. My family and I, we are beyond excited. This is exactly where we wanted to be. This is exactly where we wanted to be. Where we want you. This is going to be a challenge. I am well aware of that. I know what this division's about. And this is exactly where we want to be. We're going to go after this thing, and it's going to take all of us in this room. It's going to take this locker room. It's nothing more important than that locker room and us serving that locker room and those players. All right? They need to understand that. They need to feel that from us every single day. And if we do that, the wins are going to come.
Now, you tell me you hear that from Ben Johnson, and you tell me he truly was given the Jaguars, any position, Jaguars, Raiders, true consideration. That man was going to the Bears from the jump. It had nothing to do with Baalke. It had nothing to do with any of that, because if it was about the GM, he would have chosen the Raiders, where he could have brought the Lance Newark guy, and they fired their GM for him. But we pivot. So everybody's talking about Tony Boselli and him mentioning it had nothing to do with Baalke, all up in arms, about this and this and that, that and that and this and what he's saying. But I agree with what he said. It's funny, I tend to agree a lot with former players. My takes tend to always align with theirs. It's almost like us athletes. We're realistic about things. It's almost like we see things in different lights than what just the normal fan would. But I can't even just say as athlete, because my dad in here, we agree on a lot of things too. And it's just when it comes to these Jaguars, like it's just something about it's just y'all on Jaguar too. Y'all have to get, I guess once y'all get realistic about this team, this organization, and where we are, then y'all might be a little better off. Y'all might temper y'all expectations a little bit. But even my dad will tell y'all, I thought Trevor was gonna be the next thing smoking. I thought Trevor was going to be Josh Allen, Lamar. That's what I thought Trevor was going to be. He ain't lived up to that at all. And all Ben Johnson said was, feel like Caleb Williams gonna be that. I don't think Trevor is. And you can't fault him for that. He stayed in Detroit for as the Bible say, for such a time as this. And he got his head coaching gig, and he got the quarterback that he want to work with. It ain't got nothing to do with Trent Baalke staying, none of that. And then the news, again, like I stated, Liam Cohen staying in Tampa Bay. Now, after that, news has came out that Shai Khan and Trent Baalke had decided to respectfully, mutually part ways. As my dad says, when jobs tell you we mutually part ways, that just means you got fired. That just means you got fired. But Shai, why now? Johnson is gone. Cohen is gone. I feel like you could have still got a Brady, a Todd Monken, the Salas. You can get that with Baalke still here. Now, I agree. It was better late than never. Baalke being gone is still great for the franchise, but it's like, why now? And there's the talk, and to kind of close and wrap up what I've been mentioning, kind of what I said in the beginning. This infatuation we have with, because we have young quarterbacks just going and grabbing the offensive minded guy because you have a young quarterback. Guys, we don't have to do that. Look at what your team needs specifically for what your team needs. A lot of y'all said this whole season, the defense, which I feel they've had us in a lot of games. I mean, when the offense is on the field for 5 seconds and coming right off, I mean, what y'all expect the defense to do? But a lot of y'all, that's not here nor there. A lot of y'all felt like the defense was trash. If you bring in a defensive-minded guy, that's fixed. We just need Trevor. We just need you to be average. So I'm just surprised that a lot of fans aren't looking at it like that. You bring in a defensive-minded head coach, your defense is fixed. Now you just need Trevor to be average, slightly above average. Bring in an OC. That's all you got to do. Look at what Aaron Glenn is going to do with the Jets. There's some reports are saying he might bring in Mark Brunell as his OC. Brunell was just over there working with Ben Johnson. All you got to do is bring in a good OC. Look at what Dan Quinn doing in Washington. Defensive minded. You brought in a Cliff Kingsbury as your OC. And we're going to pull up the playoff bracket, and then I'm going to play a little clip of Dan Orlovsky talking about it. This notion that you have to always just go get the offensive-minded coach to pair with a young quarterback. That's not true, y'all. You don't have to do that. Because if we look at this playoff bracket, let me pull it up like this. Okay. If we look at this playoff bracket, let me share it. If we look at this playoff bracket, right? Yep, it's on here. It shows, and we're going to kind of go down. This thought that the guy has to be defensive minded. NFC, okay, we're going to go down the line. Washington, defensive minded coach. Bucks, defensive minded coach. You got Washington. The NFC has a lot more offensive minded coaches but then you go over here to the AFC. Texans, DeMeco Ryans, defensive minded coach, young QB. The Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, he ain't more so defensive offense. He ain't really set on one, but he's a former quarterback, so we can put him in offense. Steelers, defensive minded. Ravens, defensive minded. Bills, defensive minded. Bills Ravens was 2 defensive minded head coaches. the Texans won the first game, went to the next round against the Chiefs. I didn't think they was gonna be in the game with a defensive minded head coach. So now you gotta in the conference finals, the NFC championship, the AFC championship, you got a defensive minded coach versus an O minded, a defensive minded versus an O minded. So this notion that we just have to run and get the offensive minded coach, you got to back away from that, kind of pull away from that a little bit. And I'm going to pull up the clip of Dan O talking about it, Dan Orlovsky talking about it because he broke it down. And I heard him saying it. I was like, this is what I've been saying. You don't always have to go. I feel like here in Jacksonville, we need a guy like that because our culture is just, we are weak. We are weak. We are weak. Our players are weak sauce. All right, I'm about to play the clip of Dan Orlovsky talking about teams and and as he stated, their infatuation with just running to grab a offensive minded coach to pair with a young quarterback. Listen.
We don't have a lot of evidence in the NFL, specifically over the last maybe 6 or 7 years, where a team and an organization has a young quarterback and they go chase the offensive-minded head coach and it works. Okay, like we're way too in love with that in the NFL. And that's what gives me a little bit of hesitation on this one. The only one that I could sit here and say we could claim as a victory, a win, a good, is when the Rams went and got Sean McVay for Jared Goff after his rookie season. And they also moved on from Jared at some point, okay? Like Mike McDaniel and Tua, we can have the conversation of. Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow, maybe have the conversation of. But the ones that we've seen actually work with some of these young, talented quarterbacks are Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, a Harbaugh and a Lamar Jackson, a C.J. Stroud and a DeMeco Ryans, a Dan Quinn and a Jaden Daniels. We actually have a lot more evidence recently of the defensive-minded head coaches it actually working out better for the young quarterback. The second part is, so that gives me hesitation. First-time head coach and a young quarterback, one of the things that often in conversations doing these games, I'll never forget, it was your first-time head coach, young quarterback, and the first thing out of the head coach's mouth was, there is so much that I have to do on a daily basis that I wasn't ready for. And so you got to make sure that the right people are with you. And the last part is this, the fundamental element, the starting point, the foundational piece of Ben Johnson's offense is the play-action pass. It is everything that allows them to have the most success schematically. It is where Caleb Williams very much so struggles.
So to recap and finish off kind of what this live has been about. Jaguars fans, I get it. We are mad. We are frustrated. We just don't know the direction that this team, this organization, this owner, we don't know the direction of where we are going. But just chill. It's all going to be okay because as the Basellis have said, the Tommy Macks have said, if you bring in a Salah and he starts winning, none of this ain't going to matter. We ain't going to say nothing about Ben Johnson ain't come. We ain't going to say nothing about Liam Cohen ain't come. If we get a defensive-minded head coach and he's battling it out with DeMeco Ryans and the Texans and we get back to winning the AFC South, make a playoff run, none of this is going to matter. Shad Khan, nothing matters if you can bring a winning organization to Jacksonville. Then you'll have people in your new stadium. But it's going to be bleak at first because we want to see who you're going to hire. And then we got to see if that hire is going to produce wins. But Jaguars fans, just chill. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But I'm not more so mad because I didn't want any of them anyway. I knew it was going to go like this anyway. But just chill. Let's see who they at least hire. And we might still get that offensive-minded coach. We might still get the Joe Brady. You might still get the Todd Monken. I saw that interview Spagnuolo, the Chiefs DC. I would love him. Our defense will probably go from last to first with him. Trevor really, look, literally, what I see Trevor being, if we can get that defensive minded guy here and just shore up that defense, what Mahomes has done this year, that's all Trevor will have to do. That's all Trevor will have to do. This is a lot of people say this is a down year for Mahomes, and they're probably about to go to the Super Bowl again, which I don't think. I think the Bills gonna beat them. But if you get a guy like that in here, that's all Trevor will have to be. That's what he is. That's what I've learned. I've grown to know that we're not getting Josh Allen out of Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence can be the Mahomes this season, that's all we need. So just calm down. Let's see who they hire and give that guy a chance to come in and turn things around. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I done figured out how to share my screen now. I'm back live. I wanted to come live, especially on YouTube, because I see that I can share and put the clips during the live instead of having to edit all in these clips. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I saw at one point there was like 5 people in here. Thank y'all so much. I'll be back Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Wednesdays 6 p.m. Eastern, Fridays and Saturdays 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. No, I'm not getting rid of the gator. Not getting rid of the gator.